Hey everybody, welcome back. In this video I'm going to show you how to play the opening tapping sequence from Van Halen's Hot for Teacher. Now if you're interested, I also did a lesson on how to play the main guitar solo, and I'll put a link down below if you want to check that out. A couple things I want to mention before we get started. First, unlike most Van Halen songs where you tune your guitar down 1/2 step, for Hot for Teacher you leave it in standard tuning. And then also I want to mention that, many of you were happy that I brought back the music theory component to these lessons recently. But for this solo, I'm going to save it toward the end. Alright, let's go ahead and jump on into it. Alright, section 1 slowly goes like this. So in the first box there, you're doing a pick scrape down the E and A strings. And then you're going to tap onto, with your left hand, onto the 15th fret of the E and slide down. Okay. Then in the second box, it looks like I'm starting by playing the 12th fret of the A string, but you're not going to play the 12th fret. I just want you to put your finger there on that fret to start with. So you're pulling off from that spot to the open A, and then hammering on to 3/7. Okay? So again, you're not playing the 12th fret, you're just putting your finger there to start with, to pull off to the open A. Right? If you played it, the 12th fret note, it would sound like this. But that's not what you're doing, you're just pulling off from that spot to open A. And then in the third box, you're going to tap onto the 12th fret of A, pull off to 7, pull off to 3, pull off to 0, and then hammer on to 3/7. Alright? Then you're going to play that in boxes 4 and 5 again. Okay? That same motion. 12, 7, 3, 0, 3, 7 on the A string. Then in the sixth box, which is the final one on the top row, we're going to again tap onto 12, pull off to 7, 3, 0. But now we're going to hammer on to 5, 9. Alright? Then, in the first box on the bottom, which would be box number 7, we're going to tap onto the 12th fret of the A string, pull off to 9, 5, 0, and then hammer on to 5, 9. Then you're going to play that again in the 8th box. Now in the final, or 9th box, you're going to do that again on the A string. Tap onto 12, pull off to 9, 5, 0, hammer on back onto 5, 9. And then we're going to do tap onto 12, pull off to 9, slide down. Alright? So here's this whole section again, slowly. Alright, let's keep moving. Alright, here's section 2, played slowly. We're going to start in that first box by tapping onto the 12th fret of the D string, pulling off to 0, hammering on to 7. Alright? A lot of times I'll see people put extra notes in there. So instead of going 12, 0, 7, they'll go 12, 0, 3, 7, like this. Right? But, and I see that mistake a lot. But when you really slow down the original, you can hear that he just does 12, 0, 7. Then in the second box, this is going to be very similar to what we did in section 1. We're just doing everything on the D string now. You're going to tap onto the 12th fret with your right hand, pull off to 7, pull off to 3, pull off to 0, and then hammer back on to 3/7. Okay? You're going to play that 2 more times, okay, in the next 2 boxes. Then in box 5, the last box on the top row, you're going to do tap onto 12, pull off to 7, pull off to 3, pull off to 0. But then you're going to hammer back onto 5, 9. Okay? All right, now when we get to the bottom row, and we've got box number 6 there, you're going to tap onto 12 again, pull off to 9, pull off to 5, pull off to 0. But then you're going to hammer back onto 5, 9. Then in the final box, you do that again, 12, 9, 5, 0, 5, 9. Okay, and then 12, 9, vibrato slide down. All right, here's the section one more time, slowly. All right, let's keep moving. Now with section 3, we're going to move everything up to the G string, and it's similar to section 2, but a little bit different. First, we're going to tap onto the 12th fret, pull off to 0, hammer onto 7. Now again, just like section 2 with that first part, a lot of times people will add in an additional note. Instead of 12-0-7, they'll do 12-0-3-7. But that's not correct. Now in the second box, you're going to tap onto the 12th fret, pull off to 7, pull off to 3, pull off to 0, and then hammer on to 3-7. Okay, 12-7-3-0-3-7. Now in the third box, you're going to start again by tapping onto the 12th fret, the G string, pull off to 7, pull off to 3, pull off to 0. But then you're going to hammer on to 5, 9. That throws a lot of people off. You know, they'll want to hammer on to 3, 7 again, so keep that in mind. A lot of people miss that. Then in the fourth box, we're going to tap onto 12, pull off to 9, pull off to 5, pull off to 0. But then we're going to hammer on to 5, 9. Now in the fifth box, up on the top row, we're going to do 12, 9, 5, 0 again. And then we're going to hammer on to 3, 7. That throws some people off, okay? Now, moving to the sixth box, the first one on the bottom, we're going to do 12th fret, tap, pull off to 7, pull off to 3, pull off to 0, hammer on to 3, 7. 12, 7, 3, 0, 3, 7. Then in the final box, we're going to tap onto 12, pull off to 7, 3, 0, but we're going to hammer on to 5, 9. And then finally, tap onto the 12th, pull off to the 9th, give it some vibrato. So here's section 3 one more time, played slowly. All right, let's move to the final section. All right, the final section, section 4, goes like this, slowly. So in the first box, we're going to tap onto the 12th fret of the high E, pull off to 5, hammer on to 8. Then in the second box, we're going to tap onto 12th fret of high E again, but we're going to pull off to 8, pull off to 7, pull off to 5, and then we're going to hammer onto the 8th fret of the B string. Okay? You're not picking that note, you're just hammering onto it. Then in the third box, we're going to do the same exact thing, but we're going to shift things down one string, okay? So you're going to tap onto the 12th fret of the B, pull off to 8, 7, 5, and then hammer on to the 8th fret of the G, okay? Then in box 4, you're going to do that same thing, but this time starting on the G string, okay? So you're going to tap onto the 12th fret, pull off to 8, 7, 5, and then hammer on to the 8th fret of the D. Next, in the fifth box, we're going to move down to the D string, And this time we're just going to tap on to 12, pull off to 8, 7, 5. Okay? At that point, in these last two boxes, it kind of speeds up a tiny bit from the first four, just a little bit. Okay? So it's 12, 8, 7, 5. Then in the final box, you're going to tap on to 12 on the A string, pull off to 8, 7, 5, and then pull off to 0. So here is this whole section again, one more time, slowly. Okay, as promised, I'm going to get into the music theory here, or better yet for this one, the lack of music theory, okay? We've talked about this in past Van Halen lessons. A lot of times with Eddie, I mean almost all the time, the rules go right out the window, right? And one thing Eddie did frequently is he would do these symmetrical shapes on the fretboard where he would play the same sequence of notes string to string, right? Just a pattern of notes. So the first part of the solo where it's ascending, he's playing the open string, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 12th frets on the A, D, and G strings. Now, if you really wanted to try and dissect that and fit it into a scale, probably the best way to approach it would be string by string. So it's basically Dorian on each string, all right? But again, I wouldn't really think of it that way. Just know that it's Eddie in these symmetrical shapes, all right? We're going to see the same thing in the descending part of the solo. Let's go to that now. Now for the descending part of this little mini solo, he changes up the shape. And now he's doing 5, 7, 8, 12. And he plays on the 5th, 7th, 8th, and 12th frets on all the strings moving down, except for the low E. He doesn't touch that at all, right? And then he adds in the open A. And if you wanted to, you could look at the high E and B strings as Dorian, the G string as A minor blues, the D as A Phrygian, and then the A as either continuation of Phrygian or Aeolian. Sorry, it's a mouthful, Aeolian. But again, don't think of it as scales. Just think of it as Eddie being Eddie, doing these symmetrical shapes, moving up and down the fretboard. All right, that was my lesson on how to play the intro to Van Halen's Hot for Teacher. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I would appreciate a thumbs up, and please hit that subscribe button if you have not done so already. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and I will attempt to answer them as time allows. Until next time, rock on.